I'm Stan Lee, editor of the Marvel Comics group of superhero comic magazines.
We didn't have any money. It was during the Depression, but I would read everything I could get my hands on. And man, I felt as though I could go anywhere. What I tried to do was write the kind of stories I would want to read.
From Spider-Man to the Avengers and so much more, Stan Lee gave life to some of the most iconic characters in comic book history. The new Stan Lee documentary on Disney Plus looks at the Marvel creator's origin story.
Joining us now to tell us more is the film's director, David Gelb. David, thanks for joining us this morning.
Of course. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I think he added maybe some depth and complexity to comic books, something that was perceived to be just something very simple. What did he do that was different?
Well, Stan Lee's superpower was to infuse empathy into his characters that he created. So while Superman was an alien with superpowers, he was born that way. Batman was a billionaire. Peter Parker was just a high school student, just going through the same kind of difficulties in school with bullies, trying to make ends meet for his family as a freelance photographer that a lot of the people reading the comic books could identify with. And so I think that Stan made comic books human. He made them for both adults and for kids. And it started a revolution in this medium that has, as you can see, has kind of taken over the world.
You know, talk about the early, I mean, now he's iconic with all these Marvel movies, but back in the day, was there kind of a jockeying for position about ownership of some of these characters with Jack Kirby? I'm not familiar. I'm sure comic book purists know this name. I did not until I was reading something about it. Talk about that.
Sure. Well, Stan Lee was the editor of Marvel Comics and kind of the co-founder with his publisher, and he had some very talented artists working with him, including Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, who are the co-creators of some of the most famous comic book characters, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Doctor Strange. And so, as with all working relationships, there were complications. But if you watch the film, you can see how Stan fostered an incredible environment of creativity and tried to give his co-creators opportunities to thrive and to shine.
There's a whole generation out there that just knows these heroes from movies. I know that he lived long enough to see the success, but what did he think about how they were portrayed? Did they have the same kind of complexity and depth that he was striving for in the early days?
Well, Stan had always wanted to create a kind of cinematic universe like we have today, thanks to the work of those at Marvel Studios. And he was absolutely thrilled that they were making these kind of comic book heroes into movies with the same kind of humor, with the same kind of humanity that he had always wanted. And I think that that's a big part of why they were successful. Stan also pioneered the idea of having heroes from different comic books kind of intermesh. So some comic books might have a hero from one, a villain from another. And that's what led to this kind of crossover Marvel Cinematic Universe that we see today that has been so successful and beloved around the world.
And you kind of assume that every idea he had just got passed through. But in the beginning, Spider-Man, talk about how that was just snuck into a tail end of a series, and that's how he kind of got that started.
Oh, yeah. So when he first pitched Spider-Man, the idea of a vulnerable kind of bullied teenager as a superhero was just unheard of, and his publisher rejected it outright. So he tucked it into the last issue of a comic book series that was dying called Amazing Fantasy. But then that book sold so well that he got to make not only the Amazing Spider-Man, but so many other things based on Spider-Man, and it became such a big hit. And the big lesson from that is, if you have a great idea, don't let someone talk you out of it. If you really believe in it, go for it. And I think that's a big part of Stan's success, and it's a big message that he tried to convey to kids as he would give speaking tours around the world.
Well, it's fascinating. Stan Lee is streaming now on Disney Plus. You can also follow David on social media. David, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, David.
Thank you so much.